Hi, I'm Leon, and you've probably seen N Series by now. Is it worth it? Let's take a look. Yeah, I have not been able to escape N Series. It's been on shorts, it's been in reviews, it's been everywhere. Even opening up the Nerf store page on Amazon, I get a nice little advertisement for the agility. So I wanted to sort of answer the question of whether or not it'd even be worth it. And while I didn't really have the money to want to spare on it, I did. Just to see if the hype was justified. And truth be told, I've discovered a couple things about it. I will say this just for the outset. This is not a typical review. None of these blasters have experienced any gameplay time. That's why you won't see review in the title. Instead, I'm just kind of giving you my first impressions, if you would. My thoughts. There's still some data in this video. I did still shoot these things. But this is more of my impressions on the series and whether I think it's worth it to sort of spec into. The first thing I want to talk about is the new ammo. These are wider than your typical elite darts, and they have a nub on the back, similar to some other series. I wonder which one. These darts are also sold in packs like this. This is one of their 20 packs for $5, which puts it at around 25 cents a dart. That's not great. That's better than a lot, though. That's better than how Mega came out and did. That's better than how Vortex came out and did. Well, Vortex VTX. And that's better than how Ultra did. Yeah. I knew that looked familiar. Look, they have the same nubs. Ultra. You guys remember Ultra? Yeah, weird to say that, right? Yeah, Ultra's died. And rightfully so. It was pretty awful. Until the end, when it kind of wasn't. Ultra certainly had its quirks. These darts are styrofoam. These are back to the whole traditional foam. Had this little peg on the back to sort of make it so you could only shoot these. And these were inaccurate and flew kind of everywhere. And oh man, these do too? Oh, but don't worry, because Ultra fixed it. They have their AccuStrike darts now. You know, same kind of thing, but just with a square head. And, you know, it's pretty cool. These actually kind of hit what you're aiming at. And I love these. I really do like these as Ultra darts. Will N-Series go the same way? Well, it's hard to tell. The agility allows for some extra space between the dart head and the end of the dart post. But the Strikeback is pretty tight. I don't necessarily think this one would be able to take the AccuStrike style N-Series darts. And, you know, that could be concerning. Another thing that's a little concerning is these darts don't really have a squishy head. These go in quite a lot. These go in a lot. These don't. These are just a kind of hard rubber, and they actually do sting when you shoot yourself. And they have the nice N-Series logo on top of them, so you could certainly get yourself a nice little bruise, if you would. I don't think these shoot hard enough to bruise you, but it definitely stings for a little. And they remind me of another type of dart. These. Yeah, this is the best one I could find. These are the old X-Shot darts. Flat head, but foam, rubber right underneath, and then the rest of the dart. This one has been in a lot of wars, so it's been kind of brutalized. But these also weren't great. They were shorter, and they just so happened to sort of fly everywhere. Hey, kind of like these. Not in a good way. But I'd also like to sit down and kind of talk about price points. The one thing I was decently impressed by was everything you see in front of you, including all the darts in this cup, $50. This was 10. This was 5. This was 25. I can certainly have my complaints about 25. I maybe would have probably preferred 20. 20 would have felt good for this. But I can't really hate 25. 10 felt amazing for what's essentially the agility. The agility is basically the N-Series Disruptor. And 5 felt amazing for the Ward because I thought it was a single-shot pistol. But actually, this isn't a dart holder. This is another barrel. So I was really pleasantly surprised. And while I can certainly say $5 for 20 isn't bad, it's not the worst we've seen. 25 cents a dart, 50 cents a dart. 50 cents a dart sucked when it was coming out, and still does. 25 cents a dart is a little more manageable. So, hey, the darts are more accessible now. But what about the blasters themselves? Well, there's a reason I have the Strikeback and not the Pinpoint, which is the Pinpoint falls under one of the fatal flaws that all these sort of Nerf products do. One mag included in the blaster. Had it been two, Pinpoint, slam dunk, most practical end series blaster, I could actually sort of judge it on that merit. But the others, the Shadow Storm and the Strikeback, well, internal mags. Seems like the series is kind of liking internal mags or front loaders or cylinders, because mags are more expensive to make. Oh well. Didn't need to be practical, it just needs to be enjoyable. And hey, you can't hate that. One thing I did happen to do was record some firing footage, and I'll let the firing footage kind of play, and then I'll talk about my 3 schools of thought with these blasters, and whether they're worth it. Arm, doing 3 reloads off of each speed loader. Just to compare, here's regular Ultra, and then I'll be reloading to a full cylinder of AccuStrike Ultra. Yeah. So you can kind of see why I'd prefer AccuStrike darts, because the Ultra AccuStrikes did really good coming out of the Ultra 2, which is the flywheel blaster. Felt like I could hit every one of my shots. N-Series not so much. They kind of fly all over the place, and they hit hard, but you can't really hit anything 10 feet away. Maybe 20. 20 is a bit of a more comfortable number to say. You can't really hit too many things. They're not excellent darts, but they're not awful darts either. But now I'd like to kind of explain my 3 schools of thought with this, and my 3 varying recommendations. First group I'd like to address is Pro Series. Why are you here? It's another one of those kind of reviews where it's like, why are you here? Because this might shoot harder, but it's not at all to the Pro Series standard that you would expect. They don't feel like they shoot harder, but they definitely do. So if I'm even not really able to notice it compared to your average Air Warriors or X-Shot Blaster, then yeah. The darts are shorter, but they're wider than normal foam darts, so they can't really do your half-length dart blasters. And even if you could shoot them out of something pro level wide, they would just fly everywhere. So yeah, if you're already expecting a Pro Series or the Super Stock Nerf culture or the modder culture, unless you feel like converting maybe some blasters to Elite, although the Shadow ICS is just this thing. Why? I don't know. If you're in Pro Series, just skip this one. You don't need to care about it. You can have a niche scenario where you want it, and rewards here. It is $5, so okay, fine, whatever. But if you're Pro Series isn't really much I'd focus on. Stick to half darts or rival. You don't need this one. Now, what about if you're established in Nerf? Have a couple ammo types maybe lying around, like Elite, Rival, Mega, Vortex even. Maybe we'll go with some Demolisher missiles as well. We'll throw in some weird ones like the crossbow arrows. What can you do? Well, it's kind of my same opinion on Ultra. Just wait a little bit and see if this goes on sale. Or you might have two special kind of rules that would help you. The first thing would be like a special game mode. Like I have a game mode called Scavenge, which just so happens to be prioritizing different ammo types. Like there's the Ultra 2 lying around on the field, and there's a couple of Mega guns, and there's a couple of Rival guns just lying on the field, and you have to collect them and then shoot them, and then once you're out of ammo, drop them for the next one. I could see this integrating very smoothly into that, and in truth, it's part of the reason why I have both the Ward and the Agility, and the Strikeback too. The other thing is, if you happen to give value to different ammo types, although I do that, Ultra has a certain ability that it can do, Mega has one of the best abilities on my field, and Vortex can ricochet kill. I don't really know what I would be giving N Series by this point, and I don't think I want to give it anything. They're cool, but they're gimmicky. Gimmicky, yeah, that's the word. Yeah, that's the word, alright. But would it be worth it to spec into it? If you're established, probably not. You can wait for a sale and experiment with it, or hey, $50 for everything you see here, and that's not too bad if you're willing to part ways with that amount of money. But if you're not, then you can skip this one. Don't buy into all the hype. Just skip it and save your cash. Can't hate that. The last people I'd like to talk about are the new players. Either the people who are going to try to attend events and haven't yet, or host their own wars, or the people who are completely new to Nerf, and maybe this is one of the first videos you're seeing. In truth, well, if you're one of the newest players, maybe somebody who hasn't spec'd into anything and your friends haven't spec'd into anything, I could see you having a ton of fun with M-Series, actually. Yeah, sure, the darts are expensive, but they're not inaccessibly expensive. $5 or $20 is fine, especially when the highest capacity anything is the Infinite at 40. But even then, that comes with 80 N-Series darts, so it covers your reload. And 80's N-Series darts, by the way, is $20. So you're basically getting the Infinite and all the darts. The Infinite itself would be $20, and the darts would be the other $20. Hey, that's not bad. If you're a new player, yeah. If you're going to maybe have a bunch of your friends try stuff, you can certainly spec into N-Series. Well, I always say, yeah, you should probably look into Elite first, because that's what people will be playing. If it's just you and your friends, maybe, N-Series isn't bad. They shoot hard, they're good fun, and honestly, if all of you picked up a Ward, I could see you guys having a really good amount of fun for just $10. But if you're a new player trying to either start events or join events or want to be semi-serious about the hobby, this is not for you. If you're a new player, you need to spec into Rival or Elite. I'm not going to say you have to spec into Pro Series half darts. You just need to spec into Elite darts, the full-length darts. That's what you have to look into. N-Series is fun, but it's gimmicky. Very gimmicky. And in truth, it's probably not the best financial decision for you, because if everybody's playing Rival or Elite or half darts, $50 here, yeah, or one Nexus Pro, or the Thunderbolt and the Easy Fire. The Thunderbolt and the Easy Fire is basically the spec into the Nerf culture of any FPS cap. So these are fun, but they're not entirely the most war practical. And until I see a mag refill pack, I will continue with that judgment until I see the pinpoint comes with a mag. An extra mag. But I'd like to go ahead and just share my final thoughts on N-Series. First, this is coming from somebody who actually really liked Ultra when I got it on sale. Ultra, when it came out, was a mess. The Nexus Pro had come and just completely dominated everything. All the reviews, all the culture, and the Ultra 1 was so bad that I've wanted to burn mine for quite a while. But then I picked up the Speed, and then I picked up the Strike and the Select, all for a nice $20 each, and I became to realize that, hey, Ultra's not actually that bad if you were to buy it at a reasonable price. Now the bonus is that N-Series does come out at that reasonable price point, which I think was completely fair. 20 Ultra Darts for $5, especially 20 of these for $5, would have felt great, and still would feel great. But the N-Series blasters lack something that Ultra has. Ultra, at the end of the day, was designed to be practical. Before you hate on me for that comment, let me remind you something. The Ultra 1 came out, it was a mess. But at the end of the day, it was trying to be a 25-round cylinder flywheel blaster. That's decently practical in my book. That's more than the X-Shot Last Stand or any of the Nerf cylinders. That's not a bad capacity. The Ultra 2 is a backloading flywheel revolver, something that I think is extremely practical, and a lot of people love turning that into an elite blaster just because of how fun it is. The Ultra Select, that thing might have a small gimmick, but at the end of the day, it's still a full auto mag-fed blaster, and the double punch exists too. The Speed is the fastest firing Ultra Blaster, or flywheel blaster besides modded stuff. Stock flywheel, we'll call it. That's fun. And a game with 2 mags, that's fun. And the Strike, well, the Strike is probably my favorite of the Ultra line because it doesn't try anything. It's just a really practical and really fun semi-automatic flywheeler that takes mags and is super reliable. More of that, please. N-Series doesn't have any flywheelers. N-Series doesn't really have any quirks about it. It's just kind of blasters that have these gimmicks to them, like the Strikeback has its fake recoil, I'm calling this. The Agility has the little dangly bit, which makes this thing so uncomfortable to prime. And the Ward is everything in a complete package, and I actually really like this thing, but the priming handle is still a little flimsy. Oh well. Because at the end of the day, N-Series isn't designed for Nerfers. It never was. And seeing the newest wave come out, I can certainly tell you it's not designed for Nerfers. It's designed for people who play with Nerf. Clout chasers who like to talk about hard-hitting Nerf blasters and don't really know what they're talking about. The flashy colors and mechanics are designed to sort of attract kids into buying these things. It's designed to sort of trick parents into buying a sort of well-meaning parent or grandparent designed to sort of trick somebody into buying an N-Series blaster, and, well, that's what they bought, and now you've kind of got a blaster that none of your friends are using. So, what do I see? Well, I see a couple things. First, 2 schools of thought. The first is that N-Series actually does really well in the market, and Nerf keeps making it, and it becomes either a dominant ammo type, which I don't believe will happen, or it at least sticks around for a little while. Sure. Then by that point, sure, you could spec into N-Series, because probably this stuff will be on sale, and some of this might be on sale, and then you could pick it up for a much better price. And if it's around for a little bit, the blasters will probably be a lot better than just Double Strike, Maverick, Strong Arm, Shadow ICS 6? I don't know. The other school of thought is this. Dies just as fast as Ultra. Maybe lasts a year or 2 before they finally just say, oh, we'll try something new. Gets its nice little Aki Strike involvement, and then they're like, oh, we'll try something new. This isn't working because it failed. I don't really want N-Series to fail, but I also don't really want it to dominate the market either. But that's just how most special ammo types go. Nerf got it right with the Streamlines, and then they got it even more right with the Elite Dart. But now all the other companies are getting the Elite Dart more right with the AccuStrike variants. Nerf had a chance to do something and they didn't switch to AccuStrike. One of the most fatal flaws in my opinion. And I think they're trying to climb their way back out of this hole that they've dug in the Dart Wars by making something proprietary again. And they tried it with Ultra, they failed it with Ultra. They tried to revive Vortex and the nostalgia had worn off. Vortex wasn't selling because 20 pack for $10. So, what do I see in front of me? Well, I'll tell you this. If you're curious about it, maybe have $50, even just 25 for the Strikeback, or maybe $10 this and the ammo pack. I think you could have a lot of fun. I certainly had a lot of fun with the Strikeback, just kind of messing with it, and I really do think that it's something that you can have a lot of fun with. I don't necessarily want to hate N series because, ooh, different thing makes me angry, because I like a lot of the ammo types that are different. Mega XL was fun. Mega XL had a lot of character to it. Hyper didn't, I'll tell you that much, but Mega XL was fun. Mega was fun, Ultra was fun, Vortex was fun, even the little arrows that came with the Dreadbolt, those were fun. So what do I see? Well, I see N series. And if you don't care about what you see in front of you, then you're not missing out on anything. But if you're at least a little curious, you could certainly try it out. At the end of the day, do I recommend it? No. If you're at all spec'd in, or if you're in a situation just like me where you either host or regularly attend Nerf Wars, don't do it. These blasters didn't see any game time because I don't have the resources necessary, even with these 2 dart packs, to put them out on the field yet. 2 more of these and I think I'll be okay, but for right now I've got no purpose for them. But it was a fun little experiment and I think it's fine. But if you see it and you want to have fun with it, then don't hold back. Pick yourself up, maybe the Ward and one of the big ones, and have a good time. I think that's probably the most solid recommendation I can give you. But don't just jump at the new N series stuff. Be smart. If you don't care for it, don't care about it, skip it. You don't need it. And that's, truthfully, one of the best things you can hear about N series. Truthfully, I don't hate it. It reminds me a little bit about Ultra, except it seems like they're getting things right the second time around. But I still can't really recommend it. You can have your fun with it, but at the end of the day, until either N series AccuStrike comes out or until more practical war-oriented blasters come out, I wouldn't hold your breath, and I wouldn't spend your money on N series. As always, you don't need to fall for it. You might be seeing just this endless stream of N series, and now I'm guilty of it. And you might be thinking, hey, that looks pretty cool, or hey, I keep seeing it, it's gotta be good, right? But don't panic about it. Don't panic buy into it. Go ahead, take a step back, and just think, do I need it? Are there people playing it? If not, then don't hold your breath here. It's not really anything special. You've seen it before, and you'll see it again. Double Strike, Strong Arm, Shadow ICS. Those are the names of three Nerf Elite blasters that do the exact same thing. I'll even name a 4th one. Pinpoint, Corruptor. There you go. So, don't panic by it. Because the dart of the future might just end up being a fleeting memory in the past for Nerf's endless amount of sub-series desperately trying to claim their way to the top of the blaster market. But that's going to conclude my overview of N-Series. I hope you kind of just enjoyed my initial thoughts on the series. If you happen to see a review of these pop up in the future, that means that I actually ran them in games and can give you a more cohesive idea of what they're about. But for right now, I don't have any of that for you, and that's okay. Because you don't need to buy into the N-Series hype if you don't want to. As always, like and subscribe if you like what I do around here, and leave a comment about your thoughts. Specifically about 2 things. 1, I'd like to know what your experience was like with Ultra. Did you completely skip the series? Did you completely disregard it? Or did you spec into a lot of it? Tell me what you thought about Ultra. And if you can, tell me what you think about End Series. You think it's going to be the Dart of the future, or do you think it's going to go just like Ultra did and just disappear quietly without a trace? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. And as always, take it easy.